Hello everyone, welcome back and let's prevent the solution. Let's solve for x given this algebra problem, which is x is equal to the square root of 64 divided by x. So what is the value of x? Now solution, we have that x, this is equal to square root of 64 divided by x. So the first thing here is to square both signs so that we can be able to eliminate the square root sign. Okay? So that now here we'll have x to the power 2. This is equal to 64 divided by x. And given that x squared, this is our whole number. So let's cross multiply here. Let's cross multiply. We have x to the power 2 multiplied by x. This is equal to 64 multiplied by 1. Okay. So here we'll have x squared times x. This is x to the power 3, which is equal to 64. Now let's take 64 on the left hand side so that we'll have x to the power 3 subtract 64. This is equal to 0. Now you find that x to the power 3 subtract. Now here we have x to the power 3 minus 64. This is equal to 0. We can be able to express 64 as 4 to the power 3. So this is x to the power 3 subtract 4 to the power 3. This is equal to 0. Okay. So x to the power 3 minus 4 to the power 3, this is actually in the form of a cubed subtract b cubed, which is actually the difference of two cubes. The difference of two cubes, which you can express as a minus b, a squared, okay, plus ab plus b squared. Okay. Applying this property, we'll have that x to the power 3 subtract 4 to the power 3. This can be expressed as x minus 4, x squared plus 4x plus 4 squared, which is 16. This is equal to 0. Now, as you can see, here we have two parts. The first part is x subtract 4. This is equal to 0. And the second part is a quadratic equation, which is x squared plus 4x plus 16. This is equal to 0. Now, x minus 4 equal to 0. That means that x, you can call this one x1. This is equal to 4. Okay. So let's calculate the other possible values of x in this quadratic equation. So this is actually in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. This is equal to 0. Now, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 4, and c is equal to 16. Now, applying, again, let's check the nature of the root of this quadratic equation, which you can basically assess the discriminant value, which is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so this is the same thing as b squared, which is 4 squared, subtract 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 16. So here we'll have 16 subtract 64, and that means here we'll have negative 48, which is actually less than 0. And that means that we have two complex, here we have two complex roots. We have two complex roots. Okay, and so for these two complex roots, okay, we apply the quadratic formula. So we'll have x2, x3, which is actually negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So applying this formula, we'll have negative b, which is actually negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, which is basically negative 48. So here we'll have negative 48 divided by 2 times 1. Okay. Now from here, we'll have, this is the same thing as, this is negative 4 plus or minus, we can express negative 48 as basically 16 times 3 times negative 1 divided by 2. Okay. Now from here, we have that x2, x3. This is equal to, now this is negative 4, plus or minus. Now the square root of 16, this is 4. Okay. Square root of negative 1, this is I. Then square root of 3, everything divided by 2. So in this case, x2, comma x3, if this is the same thing as negative 2 plus or minus 2I square root of 3. Now these are two complex roots. These are two complex roots. Now that means that we have three solutions. We have two complex roots and only one real solution, which is x1, which is basically equal to 4. Okay, which is basically equal to 4. This is the only real solution. Okay, and we can be able to check. Let's check if this real solution, which is x1, actually satisfies the equation. Now, if you recall, we end that x is equal to the square root of 64 divided by x. Now, substituting the value of x in this case, we'll have x which is equal to 4. This is the square root of 64 divided by 4. So 64 divided by 4 here, this is the same thing as 16. Okay, so 4 is equal to the square root of 16. Okay, and square root of 16, this is actually equal to 4. Okay, and that shows that that means that x1, which is actually the real solution here, satisfies the equation. Okay, satisfies the equation. So kindly follow the steps, like this video, and subscribe.